bit of lateral work, so a lot of work on thighs and adductors. It's just not a movement that we do very often. It's more flexion and extension. I just thought we'd work a bit laterally today, working the sides of the body, but we'll start with our usual anyway. Feet hip width apart, feet like the number 11, weight nice and evenly distributed, knees nice and soft. There's Gemma, she's on her way in. So we'll just find that core engagement. We all know what we're doing here, so we won't spend long on this one. Just rocking forwards, finding that core, and then coming back to center, making sure that weight stays evenly distributed, feet nice and flat to the floor, so not lifting up through the arches or leaning to one side over the other. So we're going to bring it back to center, maintaining our core engagement, finding our neutral pelvis. So just nice soft knees here, so maybe a little bit more of a bend in the knees. And then just really squeeze that tailbone under, really try to stretch out that lower back. And then arching forward, sticking that bottom out behind. Morning, Gemma. Squeeze and arch. And then finding that midpoint, so just tucking that tailbone between the legs, so we've lessened that arch in the back, drawing up through the crown of the head towards the ceiling, sliding those shoulder blades down and back. We're going to do a roll down with a bit of a difference this time, so we're going to go into a side bend first. So sliding the right hand down towards the right knee, we're coming down to our side bend, so stretching out through the left hand side of the body, and then we're going to bring that left shoulder forwards and take it over into our roll down over that right leg, so coming all the way down, so just slightly off center there. You should feel a nice stretch down the left hand side of the body and down that left behind the left leg. We're going to walk the hands back into the center, keeping our neck relaxed, keeping the arms dangling. Take a nice inhale breath here. As we exhale, we're going to draw up through that pelvic floor. Draw the tummy away from the thighs, just let the arms dangle, rolling the spine back up to center. When we reach the center, we're going to do a nice shoulder roll. Somebody else? Yeah, oh, Gemma's back in, but she's already coming. So we're going to do it to the other side now. So I'm just going to slide that left hand all the way down towards that left knee, really creating some space between that right hip and bottom right rib, so really full stretch there, and then we're going to bring that right shoulder forwards, taking it into a roll down over the left leg this time, keeping keeping the weight equal in each feet. So take it into that roll down over the left leg, relaxing through head, neck and shoulders. Make the way back into the center. Take an inhale breath here. As we exhale again, we're going to scoop the tummy button up towards the spine, rolling the spine back up again, which is really nice. Rolling back to center. Nice little shoulder roll at the top, slide those shoulder blades down and back. Then, bringing the legs out nice and wide, quite wide. Here, we're going to turn the right foot out to the side. We're going to bring the arms level with the shoulders. Lost my words there. And then we're going to just bend through that right knee, keeping that left foot nice and flat to the floor, feeling a lovely stretch down the inside of that left leg. And then exhale, drive through the right heel back to center. Let's do a couple more of those. So it's a reach and a bend through that right knee, keeping nice and upright with the spine, and then pushing through that right heel back to center. Let's do two more. And pushing back up, and last one. And then bring it back to center. We're then going to bring the right hand to the inside of the right thigh. Take the left arm up towards the ceiling. Take the gaze towards that left hand, and we're just going to travel the hand down towards the right foot, keeping that core switched on, finding that balance. Take an inhale breath, and then exhale. We're sliding back up that leg, reaching up towards the ceiling at the top, and then relax the arms down to the side. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So bring that right toe forward. Turn that left foot out, going into our warrior first. So arms lengthened, shoulder height, and then just bending through that left knee. Right foot stays nice and flat to the floor. Feel that lovely stretch inside the right leg. And then bring it all back to center. 3 more on this side. So just a bend, keeping that right foot flat. Perfect, lovely. Nice and controlled. Core stays switched on here. Keep the spine lengthened. And back. And last one. Inhale it down. Lovely stretch. Exhale. Coming back up. We're going to bring the left hand to the inside of the thigh. Right hand reaches up towards the ceiling. Inhale, breath. And as we exhale, we're sliding down that left leg. Ooh, quick. We're down towards the ankle. Inhale, breath at the bottom. Exhale, slide back up. Reach towards the ceiling at the top. And then relax the arms down to the side. Shuffling the feet back in. Coming towards the end of our mat. We're going to walk, we're going to roll down, we're going to walk it out into our plank. So again, tailbone slightly tucked under, core switched on. Inhale, breath as we exhale. Just normal roll down, chin towards the chest, knees nice and soft. Just let the arms dangle. So we're going down as far as those hamstrings will allow. Just enjoy that stretch for a couple of breaths. Nice inhale breath through the nose. As we exhale, see if we can push down a little bit deeper into the stretch. Inhale breath again. See if we can go a little bit deeper. If we're not at the floor with the hands, pop that bend into the knee. Hands flat to the floor. We're going to walk it out into our plank. So just walking down the mat into our plank hold. So wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath, no, knees aren't underneath the floor, we're into full plank here. Push the floor away with the hands engaging through the shoulders. If this is too much, we can come down into our 3/4 plank. If you're okay, stay in plank, we're going to hold for 4. Really engage through the core, really engage through the glutes, quads. 3, 2, and 1. We're coming down into 3/4 plank. So just bring those knees down to the floor. And we're going to work some rotation now. I'm going to give you a couple of options for this one. So level 1, we're on our knees, 3/4 plank. Untuck the toes. We're going to push into that left hand as we bring the right hand up towards the ceiling. Don't take the hand beyond, the arm beyond the shoulder though. And then back down. And then up with the other side. So just rotating, warming up through the spine. Level 2, so we're going into side plank, really working those obliques. So up into full plank, and then rolling down and reach. Hand comes back, shoulders come square, we roll up and over and reach. So you've got a couple of options there. Nothing wrong with being down on the knees and working that rotation. Let's go for 2 more to each side. So concentrating today on the side of the body. Last ones. Exhale, reach, keep those hips nice and high if we're in our full plank. Keep that shoulder away from the ears. And last one, bring the hand back down, back into our plank. Bring the knees down if they're not already. And have a sit back into the heels. Lengthening through the spine, bringing the forehead down towards the floor. Bringing the chest down towards the knees. Have a little walk forward with the fingers. Really get as much length into that spine as we can. Just enjoy that stretch for a couple of seconds. And then we're going to bring the knees out a little bit wider towards the sides of the mat. Sit the tailbone back in towards the heels. Really drop that chest nice and low to the mat. Get that really lovely stretch going through the chest. And then we're going to have a little walk round to one side with the hands. I'm going to face the front so you can see. So knees are out a little bit wider, we're walking round to one side. Then we're going to come up into our cat stretch from here. So fully reach with the arms, and then we're going to tuck the tailbone under, coming up onto the knees into a cat stretch, an off-centered cat stretch. And then sit it back into the heels again. So you should be feeling a really nice stretch if we're over to the left, down that right hand side. So tuck the tailbone up, coming into our cat, and then back down again. Let's go for one more on this side. And then sitting the bottom back into the heels, we're going to walk around a little bit further, all the way around to the side. And then just bring that top shoulder forwards, taking it into a really nice side bend stretch. If you can see, that's it, ready? And then bring that shoulder back forwards, bring the hand back down to the floor. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side now. So just walking the hands through the center to start with. Walking the hands up and over. So really stretching out the side of the body. We're going to then tuck that tailbone under, coming up onto the knees into that lovely cat stretch, lengthening through the spine, and then sit the tailbone back into the heels. So it's just coming up and down in that flexion with that little lateral twist. And last one. Up and down, walking the hands all the way around to the side. And then opening up through that shoulder, so you bring the body towards the front, taking it into that side bend stretch. And then coming back down, bring the hand back down to the floor and walk the hands back to center. Well, that felt nice. And just sink that chest down into the floor. Walk those hands a little bit further away. And then coming up, walking the hands back towards the body. We're going to come up onto all fours. So bring the knees now underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders, and push that floor away with the hands. So we're going to come up into a nice little cat stretch first. So inhale, breath as we exhale. We're going to scoot the tummy up, push the floor away, really lengthen through the spine, and then bring it back to neutral. Take an inhale breath as we exhale. We're going to draw that tummy button up towards the spine, tuck that tailbone under, squeezing up, and then bring it back to neutral. So on this next cat stretch, we're going to slightly lift the right knee up away from the floor and bring the right knee over towards the left elbow, so squeezing across the waist. And then we're going to come out to the side. So we're going to reach that leg out to the side, keeping it nice and high, and then bring it back towards the elbow and back out to the side. Reach with that right leg and back in. Let's go for 3 more on this side. So you should really feel those obliques stabilizing the body as that leg comes out. Let's go for 2. Exhale through the center and reach. And last one. And lengthen that leg out to the side. We're going to hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that knee back underneath the hip. Have a little sit back into the heels. Walk those hands away. Just lengthen everything back out again before we do the other side. So coming back up onto all fours again. Pushing the floor away with the hands, so making sure those shoulders are active. We're coming up into our cat stretch. Scoot the tailbone under. Scoot the tummy button to spine. and then back to neutral. So we're going to lift the left knee away from the floor. We're going to bring the left knee towards that right elbow, so across the body, and then lengthen out to the side. So scooping across, pushing up into the spine as the knee comes over, and then lengthen. So you should really feel those left obliques engage as that left leg reaches away from the body. Let's go for 3. Reach nice and high, nice and long with that leg. 2. And last one. Coming across, we lengthen out to the side. We're holding for 4. 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knee back underneath. Have a little sit back into the heels. Couple of focused breaths there. And release, well done. We're going to come down onto our backs now, working some ab work. So coming down to the spine, pelvis in neutral, so hip bones and pubic bone on one nice level. A cup of tea within that triangle, we don't want to spill that tea. So feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart. We're going to bring the hands behind the head. Take a nice inhale breath here as we exhale, keeping that pelvis in neutral. We're going to bring the chin towards the chest and coming up, peeling those shoulder blades away from the floor. So really drawing that bottom rib down towards the hip. Inhale breath here, and then exhale as we place the shoulder blades down and the head down. Take an inhale breath as we exhale, just warming up the abdominals. Lift, inhale, hold, and come back down with the shoulders and the head. So just keep that going, exhaling up. Hold, making sure that pelvis stays in that neutral position, and then coming back down. On this next one, we're going to come up, we're going to stay up. So pelvis is in neutral. Pelvis is going to stay neutral. We're going to bring that right knee out to the side. So we're going to bring it down without rolling down on that right side. And then exhale as we come back to center. We're going to do the same on the left side. So you can see, so we're just dropping that knee out. And then squeezing back to center. So knee drops out. Knee squeezes in. All the time that pelvis stays in neutral. Exhale, squeeze. Let's go for 2 more to each side. Lift up through this head and shoulders. See if you can come up a little bit higher. And the last ones. And squeeze on the last one. Knee goes out, knee squeezes in. See if we can come up a little bit higher, and then bring the head and shoulders down to the floor. Well done. We're just going to take it into our shoulder bridge now. So just walk the heels a little bit closer to the bottom. I'm going to move my camera right at the bottom of the screen. So heels come a little bit closer to the bottom. We're going to bring the feet together, bring the knees together. So we're going to work our shoulder bridge with that squeeze of the legs as well. So take an inhale breath, collarbones nice and wide, arms pressing down into the floor. Inhale breath as we exhale. We're going to lift the pubic bone as we sink that lower back down into the floor and just start to slowly peel the spine away from the floor. Coming up into our bridge, so really squeeze the glutes to the top. Keep that tailbone tucked under. Take an inhale breath here, and then exhale. See if you can squeeze that tailbone under a little bit more, keeping those knees squeezed together. And then we're going to allow the knees to fall out to the side as far as the feet can stay flat to the floor. So don't let the arches of the feet rise. And then we're going to exhale as we squeeze the legs back together. Imagine you've got a 20-pound note between the knees. You want to grip that 20-pound note, really work those inner thighs. Inhale, release out, keeping those hips nice and high, keeping that tailbone tucked under, squeeze. Inhale, release. So you'll really feel that work in that last couple of millimeters as the knees touch. And release out. Let's go for 4, squeeze. Inhale, release. Only to that point before the feet peel away from the mat. 3. And last one. No, last 2, sorry. 2, teasing you then. Inhale, release. Really squeeze those glutes as well. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Lovely. Bring those knees back together. Take an inhale breath. We're going to exhale slowly. Start to place the spine 1 vertebrae at a time down onto the floor. Well done. We're then going to bring the feet to hip width apart. So just separate the feet. We're going to come up again into our shoulder bridge. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale, tilt the pelvis, peel the spine. Coming up, 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 1 vertebrae at a time, really squeezing the tailbone under. We're now going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Palms facing, anchor those shoulders down into the floor. We're going to come out with the arms to the side, so they come down shoulder level. Inhale as we come down, and exhale as we squeeze those arms back up towards the ceiling. Let's go for 4. Inhale, bring them out. Inhale, exhale, bring them back. Really squeezing that tailbone under. Inhale, last 2. Exhale. Inhale it out. And exhale as we squeeze those arms back up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bring them out and leave them out now. So bring the arms out, lengthen through the arms, open up the chest. Inhale, breath here, really pushing through those heels. And as we exhale, we're bringing the spine down. 1 vertebrae at a time, controlling it all back down to the floor. Well done. Grabbing hold of the knees, just pull the knees up towards the shoulders. Lengthen those glutes, have a little rock from side to side. And then we're going to go back to that first exercise that we did, that core exercise, but with a bit of a difference. We're going to add some rotation of the upper body in as well on this one. You'll be pleased to hear. So bringing the feet down, level with the hips, pelvis in neutral, hands come behind the head. We're going to take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're peeling away from the floor, lifting up through those shoulders as high as we can without altering the pelvis. So now when the right knee is going to travel out, we're going to bring the right elbow over towards that left knee. And then inhale as we come back to center, bringing that right knee back to center. Exhale, left knee travels out, left elbow comes up and over. And then bring it back to center. So let's just keep that going. If you need to have that rest in the center, bring the head down onto the floor. As we exhale, coming up and over as that knee travels out. And bring it back. Exhale it through. How are we all getting on? Perfect. So the elbow comes over towards that stationary leg. That's it. Perfect, Abby. Lovely. Nice. Kind of really working, lovely, Jill. Working across that waist. Perfect, Kate. So as the elbow comes over, that opposite leg travels out to the side with control. Let's go for 1 more on each side. And last ones. And last one. Exhale. Reach, lift, lift, lift. Bring the knees back to hip level. Inhale, breath. Exhale it all back down to the floor. Well done. Taking it out into a full body stretch. Let's really lengthen through those abdominals. Lift the spine away from the mat. Feel the length down the front of the body. And then we're going to take it into some roll-ups. So bringing the arms up towards the ceiling. Anchor the shoulders down into the floor. Inhale, breath as we exhale. Chin comes towards the chest as we start to peel the spine away from the mat. That's it, lovely. Lifting nice and tall in the center. We're going to forward fold. So we're going to reach for the feet. Feel that lovely stretch down the back of the legs. And release. And then we're going to work with some roll downs now. So we can either work with legs straight. Some people prefer a little bend in the knee, but just as long as we sat nice and high on those sit bones. So the lateral bit on this movement, arms are going to come out level with the shoulders. And as we come back into our roll downs, that pelvic tilt, we're going to bring one arm out to the side. So right arm first, arm comes out and rolling down to the spine. And then bring that right arm behind the head, left arm stays where it is, and then we're exhaling as we come back through the center, lifting up, nice and tall on those sit bones, crown of the head towards the ceiling. Then go with the other side, so left arm travels out as the spine travels down towards the floor. So we're just adding in a bit of weight to one side of the body on that roll down. Bring the arm behind the head. Exhale, chin to chest, and peel back up. So you can have bent legs or straight legs here, it's entirely up to you. Lift at the top, and then arm travels out. Control that spine down with the added lever, added weight rather on one side. Arm comes behind the head. Exhale, move back up. Let's go for 2 more on each side. Exhale, coming up. And last ones. Remember to lengthen at the top. Work those back extensors at the top. Really lift the head, crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Peel and lengthen. Last one. Arm comes out. So if it's the left arm that comes out, those left obliques really working hard to stabilize the body. Exhale, chin to chest. And peel, peel, peel. And lengthen. Well done. Relaxing the arms down to the side. We're going to come into side line now. So, onto our side, let's go with glutes first. So one nice straight line. What am I doing here? We're bending this bottom knee. So bottom leg comes out into tabletop position. So we've got a 90-degree bend in the hip, 90-degree bend in the knee, head relaxed onto the arm or the hand, it's entirely up to you. So the waist is lifted up from the floor. This top leg is in line with that top hip. We're just going to start with some leg raises. So we're going to lift the leg to a point where we're not altering the torso. So don't take it up too far where we sink the waist down into the floor. So there's no movement here from the upper body. The only movement is coming from the leg. So squeezing up and then bringing that leg back down level with that top hip. So making sure we're not collapsing into the floor. That looks really nice. Perfect. Exhale, raise. Again, lengthen through this top leg, engaging through the quad, reaching with the toes towards that walk back wall. Exhale it up. Inhale, lower. So we're going to add a kick on into the next one. So exhale, raise, inhale, lower. Legs parallel with the floor, we're going to bring that leg forward. When the thighs are parallel, we're going to add a little raise, bring it back to hip level, travel the leg back. So we're just coming forwards, leg stays parallel with the floor, little raise, back, and sweep that leg back. That's it, perfect. How am I getting for time? Raise, and back. Let's go for 3, lift, lower, and sweep. All the time, that waist is away from the mat. 2, not quite finished yet. Last one, lift, lower, sweep. We're going to bring that leg back, forwards, parallel with the floor. We're going to relax the ankle, so the foot flops, making that leg feel really heavy, and then we're going to tap towards the floor. We're going to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg back up, bend through the knee, bring the legs together, give the bottom a good rub there, well done. Let's do a nice stretch now. So bringing the bottom arm out in front, level with the shoulder. Have a little shuffle up the mat there so the shoulders are level. If you've got a cushion, you can pop the cushion under your head. If not, just relax the head and neck onto the mat. So bringing the arms together, we're going to take an inhale breath here as we exhale, lengthening through the arm, taking the gaze to this top hand as we travel the arm over in a nice big arc. And aim to get those shoulder blades as close to the floor as we can. So really open out that chest, really rotate across that waist. Take a nice deep inhale breath into that stretch. Stretching out across the rib cage, and as we exhale, engaging through the core as we pull that arm back up and back through. Try to sweep the ceiling with the fingertips on the way. Bring the hands back together again. As the hands are together, take an inhale breath, and as we exhale, we're sliding that top hand as far away from the body as we can. Just really relaxing into that one. And then bring the hands back together again. Then we're going to work a bit more on obliques. So coming towards the front of your mat, we did this one on Monday. So we've got a little bit of room to roll back, so we're not rolling onto the floor. So bring this bottom arm out underneath, palm facing down towards the floor, head relaxed onto the arm. So we're just going to start off with some double leg raises. So hips are stacked, we're going to take an inhale breath as we exhale, squeezing the heels together, lengthening through the legs. We're coming up into that double leg side lift. And then inhale as we lower back down. So it's an exhale breath as we come up. And inhale as we come back down. If you want to challenge the balance a little bit, we can take this top hand away. Exhale as we squeeze up. Inhale as we lower down. So on this next one, I'm going to give you another option. As we squeeze up with the legs, really working this top side of the obliques, we're going to roll onto the bottom, keeping those legs lifted, and then slide up into that teaser. And then we're going to try and control it all the way back down. You can use this hand if you like for a little bit of support, a little bit of balance. So the hand can be there to help. So we're rolling onto the bottom, keeping those legs away from the floor, bending through the knees, squeezing those knees up towards the chest, and then lower it back down. Let's have a look how you're getting on. Let's coming up, so roll, lovely cake. and squeeze. If you want to make this a little bit harder, not many do, we can come up with straight legs. So into that straight leg teaser, draw those knees up towards the chest, reach, 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 and then come back down. So let's go for 3 more. Keep the legs lifted. Lift. Perfect, Jill, that looks really good. And she's taken her hand away from the floor. Well done. Last 2. And last one. Rolling down. Let's come up. Really squeeze those knees, whether they're bent or straight, up towards the chest. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Bending through the knees if they're not already. Pop the feet back down to the floor. Well done. That's not easy. We're going to do the same thing. Actually, no, we'll just break that up a little bit with the seated exercise in the centre. So, again, nice and tall in those sit bones. We can work with bent legs here if you struggle to keep those legs straight and to keep that spine tall. I'd rather you had a taller spine and bent legs. So entirely up to you. We're going to bring the hands to behind the head, elbows out nice and wide. We're going to work spine twist now. So imagine we've got a piece of string pulling crown of the head up towards the ceiling. We're going to rotate through to the left-hand side, and then we're going to bring that right elbow down towards that right knee. Coming down, coming back up, staying twisted, and then inhale it back to center. So exhale through to the other side, bring that left elbow down towards that left knee. Sorry, I can't really talk when I'm doing this, I've got no breath. And then restack the spine, and then bring it back to center. So let's just keep that going. Exhale on the twist. Inhale as we lower elbow to knee. Exhale as we restack. And then inhale it back to center. So really working through that rotation. And bring it back. And bring it back through. So really working those obliques in that rotated spine, lifting us back up into that nice long spine position. Let's go for 1 more to each side. Bring it back through. Last one. Exhale through. Elbow comes down towards the knee. Back up nice and tall. Bring it back to center. Well done. Relax the arms down to the side. Give the arms a little shake out there as well. Bring the feet flat to the mat, staying with nice wide legs. It's not running out of time. We're going to work some hip mobility now. So hands come down to the side of the bottom, fingers pointing forward. We're going to roll the knees down and then add a little lean in over the leg and then back through the center. Rolling up and over. You will travel a little bit on this one, traveling forwards, a little lean, and then bring it back. Next level, we can come up onto the knees, pushing into the hips on this one. So push up, bring the bottom back down, bring the knees over, and then back up and push. So really pushing that tailbone under, really get that stretch down the hip. But again, take it at your level, whether it's just rolling the knees and adding that little lean in over. Just working some hip mobility. You can use the hand there to push you up if you like. The main part of the exercise is that little hip stretch. Lovely. Push. Squeeze the glutes at the top of that one. Let's go for 1 more. Squeeze, bring the bottom back down onto the floor, and then we're going to work that whole side series on the other side now. So coming down into our side lying position, head relaxed, ideally onto the arms so everything's in one nice straight line. I put my hand on my head, it's not the end of the world. We're going to bring that bottom leg into our tabletop position. So 90 degrees, lengthening this top leg, level with this top hip. Core stays lifted away from the floor, so we're coming up as far as we can maintain that lift of the core away from the floor. So nothing moves, no distance changes between the rib and the bottom hip on either side. So it's just a simple lift and lower, making sure we're really engaging through this top leg. Perfect. Looks good. Lovely. Let's add on the kick on this next one. So leg comes level with that top hip. We're sweeping that leg forward, parallel with the floor, and then adding a little lift at the front. The leg travels back, level with the body. Perfect. Again, no movement from this top part, this torso. So lift, lower. So the core's working to stabilize the hip. Everything's working, not just the glute, even though it feels like it's just the glute. And that's it. Perfect. Let's go for 3 more of those. Really imagine somebody pulling this leg away from you. Really work the legs as well. Last 2. And last one. Lift. Leg stays level with the hip now. We're going to flop the ankle. So just let the toes, let the foot dangle. And we're going for those 10 pulses. So we're going to tap, tap, tap. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Leg comes back level with the hip. Bending through that knee. Bring the knees together, bring the feet together. Well done. Now let's go into our lovely spine twist. So shuffling the weight up so the shoulders are stacked, relaxing the head and the neck. Arms level with the shoulders. Take an inhale breath as we exhale. Lift and lengthen through the arms. Sweep the ceiling on the way. And really open up that chest. Knees stay where they are. Really lovely stretch across the waist, stretch across the chest. Nice deep breath into that stretch, and on that next exhale breath, really use the core here to pull that arm back up and back over. Bringing those hands together. Again, take an inhale breath here. As we exhale, let's slide away with that top arm, relax into that one. Nice deep breaths again. And then bring the hands back together again. We're going to take it into our oblique work, so coming towards the front of the mat. So we've got room to roll back. This bottom arm out, over the window, palm facing down towards the ceiling. Hips are stacked. This hand can be in front for a little bit of support, fingers nice and light. Inhale breath as we exhale. Let's just start with our simple leg raises. So squeezing up and lowering down. Exhale, warming up that top side of the waist and lower. Exhale, raise. Inhale, lower. So on this next one, the legs are gonna stay up. And this is where we roll back onto the bottom, bend through the knees, coming up into our teeth. So just drag that arm behind you and then try to control it all back down. You can use this hand for a little bit of help if you like. Try to keep the legs raised at all times. So these obliques don't get a break in this one. So exhale, we roll onto the bottom. This arm comes out, we pull up, lovely. And then lower it back down, sliding back down to the floor and lengthen again. So we can make this into straight legs, making it slightly harder, longer lever length, reach into our teaser. And then lower it back down with control. If it's too much, just carry on with our leg raises. And lift. And lower. Last one after this one. You're going to really feel this one tomorrow inside of the body, I think. Exhale, lift, lift, lift. Reach, reach, reach. Reach for the toes if we're straight legs. And then coming back down with control onto the side. Legs stay lifted and lower it back down to the floor. Well done. That was tough. So let's come up again towards the front of our mat. We're going to roll it back down for a little bit more core work. So again, nice and tall on those sit bones, arms out level with the shoulders, shoulders down and back. Inhale, breath as we exhale. Pelvic tilt. We're slowly placing the spine down, one vertebrae at a time, controlling it all back down to the floor. Lovely. Well done. Head and shoulders come down. Arms come down to the side of the body. Keeping that pelvis in neutral position, we're going to bring the legs one at a time up into tabletop position. And then we're going to lengthen the legs as much as we can. Don't worry if there's a slight bend in the knee. Got tight hamstrings like me. And then we're going to work inner thighs again. So arms stay down to the side. Left leg stays pointed up towards the ceiling. Left leg doesn't move. We're going to bring the right leg out to the side as much as we can without rolling onto that right hip. And then we're going to exhale as we squeeze the legs back together in the center. See if I can face this way and see. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side without dropping that left hip and squeeze back to center. So it's just from one side to the other. Yeah, cool, got that one. So that's our level one. Level two, bring the hands behind the head. We're going to lift those head and shoulders away from the floor again. And you'll notice you can't go down quite as far with the leg without tippling over and come back to center. Left leg travels out. And then bring it back to center. We can add a twist in as well. So as that right leg travels out to the side, we can bring that right elbow over towards that left knee. Lots going on in this exercise. Squeeze it back to center. And then up and over to the other side. We don't have to add the twist in. Just a bit of added extra core work if you want it. And bring it back. So legs don't need to be straight. Keep that bend in the knee if you need to. Let's go for two more to each side if we can. And last ones. Really feeling this. Back to center. And last one. And bring it back. Well done. Bending through the knees. Bring the knees towards the chest. Bring the head and shoulders down. Have a quick breather. Right. A little bit of spine work before we have a stretch. So we're going to come down onto our fronts now. So just flipping over, working the spine. Don't like to leave anything out. So just bringing the hands down underneath the forehead. It's a bit of a cushion really. We're going to bring the feet out to the corners of the mat. Allow the heels to fall in towards each other. Lengthening through that lower spine again. So push that pubic bone down into the floor as we pull the tummy button up towards the spine. We're going to take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to lift the legs away from the floor without putting any strain on that lower back. So it's not a massive lift at all, really engaging through the glutes. And then we're going to bring the legs out to the side as we inhale, exhale, draw the heels as close as we can together. My heels don't meet. Some people can, I can't. So we're just going out and then squeeze. Keeping those legs externally rotated so the kneecaps are facing out towards the side. Inhale as we widen, Exhale as we pull the heels together. Let's go for 3 more. 1, 2, and last one. Inhale and exhale. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze those heels together. And then release back down to the floor. Well done. Allow the heels to flop out towards the side, so we're relaxing the lower back and the bottom on this next one as we work the upper spine. We're going to bring the hands down to the side of the body, reaching down towards the knees, forehead down to the floor. We're going to exhale. We're going to pull the head and the shoulders up into a little hover, and then we're going to slide the right hand down towards the right knee, taking it into a mini side bend, and then bring it back to center. So we're working some lateral movement in this spine extension. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, sliding down to the right knee. Exhale, bring it back to center. Don't worry too much about the breath. Just keep breathing. Let's go for 1 more to each side. And last one, sliding down, coming back to center. Bring the forehead and the shoulders down towards the floor. Bring the heels back to face each other. We're going to add some movements together now. So we're going to come up with the head and shoulders, coming up with both legs, and then we're going to bring the arms out level with the shoulders as we widen out through the legs. And it's like a starfish position. And then exhale as we bring them back together. Squeeze those heels together. Really push into the side of the body and then back out. Inhale, widen. Exhale. If you feel it in the lower back, just go with the legs or the arms. Just don't do both together. Squeeze. Let's go for 3. 2. Inhale, widen. Exhale, squeeze. And last one. Inhale, widen. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze those heels together. Bring those hands down towards the knee and relax it down onto the floor. Well done. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to push it up onto all fours, bringing knees in underneath the hip. Look, a nice rotational stretch now. So we're going to lift the right hand away from the floor. We're going to slide that right hand, palm facing up towards the ceiling, behind that left wrist. Soften through that left elbow as we bring the shoulder and the head down towards the mat and relax into that stretch. If you've got no neck issues, we can lift the left hand away from the floor, bring it behind the small of the back and just see if we can work a little bit of more rotation there. Use that hand to pull you through. And then bring the hand back, left hand back, pushing back up onto all fours again, doing exactly the same on the other side. So left hand comes up, slide it behind that right wrist, bring the shoulder down, bring the head down. So we're rotating through that thoracic spine. We can bring this right hand behind if we like, if you're okay on the neck, and then just bring that right shoulder round. Just rotating a little bit more. And then bring that right hand back. Bring that left hand back onto the floor. Let's take it into our cat stretches now. So spread the fingers. Inhale breath as we exhale. We're scooping, really squeezing that tailbone under. Really reach that lower back with the stretch. So scooping up with the tummy button. And then through neutral, lengthen, and then just gently arch the spine. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, really stick out the bottom. And then staying in this position, we're just going to turn the head, have a little glimpse over the shoulder, try and get a glimpse of the bottom, and then back through the center and over to the other side. Little look over the shoulder, try and get a glimpse of the bum. Back to center, let's take it back into our cat stretch, so scooping up, tucking that tailbone under, pushing the floor away with the hands. And then lowering it back. Back into our arch. Gentle squeeze of the shoulder blades, stick out the bum. Let's take it over the shoulder again, have a little look. Through the center. Back to center. Pushing back into a neutral spine position. So think about length from the crown of the head down to the tailbone. We're going to turn those toes underneath now. Have a little sit back into the heels. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to push the knees away from the floor. Lift the hips nice and high, head through the arm. And then just gently start to bring the heels down towards the mat. Feel that lovely stretch into the back of the legs. And then start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Transfer the weight back to the feet again, so relaxing through the head, neck and shoulders. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale, draw that tummy away from the thighs. Lift up through that pelvic floor as we start to rebuild the spine. Coming up with control, one vertebrae at a time. Lifting up. And then when we reach the top, some really nice big shoulder rolls there. So make sure we pop those shoulders